Hello, akkam jirtu barattoota nagaa keessanii iddoo jirtan hundumatti nageenya waaqayyo isiniif haa ta'u. Har'as viidiyoon kaleessa hojjedhe irraa itti fufee lakkoofsa 12 irraa ka'ee haga gaaffii 21ffaatti qormaata moodelaa biiroon barnoota Oromiyaa bara 2018tti barattoota qormaata intiraansii qoramaniidhaaf dhiyeesse keessaa barnoota histirii qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadheera. Ana waliin turaa jechuun affeerraa kooti. Viidiyoon kun vaariyaalii akka ba'uudhaa fi sheer, laayik, komentii fi sabskiraayib gochuu hin dagatinaan affeerraa koo yeroo maraati. Question number 12. In what way did Jewish religious leaders understand the advent of Jesus Christ and his teaching? A. Granted him a warm welcome for his revolutionary outlook. This is incorrect because A is incorrect because Jesus was not warmly welcomed. Many leaders opposed and criticized him. Ega gara addunyaa kanatti Yesus Kristos gaafa dhufu hoogganaan biyyaas ta'e mootiin biyya lafaa baga nagaan dhufte jedhee simannaa gaarii godhee isa simate hin jiru. Isa faallessu isarratti jecha hamaa fi dubbii daddarbaa dubbachuu fi himata irratti banuu irraa kan ka'e. Kanaafu granted him a warm welcome for his revolutionary outlook kan jedhu deebiin ta'u jechuudha. B. Considered him and his teaching as a threat to their authority. B is the correct answer, while C believed that this arrival upheld their control over the people. This is wrong because teaching of Jesus weakened the Jewish control rather than strengthening it. Barsiisni Yesus Kristos barsiisaa ture barnoota warra Yihuudotaa kan faallessuu fi kan dadhabsu kan ture malee kan cimsu hin turre jechuudha. Kanaaf caanis deebiin ta'u. D. Considered his coming instrumental for unity of the Roman Empire. This is also wrong because Jewish leaders were concerned with their own religious authority, not the unity of Roman Empire. Warri Yihuudota waa'ee gamtaa ofii isaaniiti malee Romaanota wajjin walitti dhufuu waan isaan ilaallatu hin turre. Kanaaf kuni misleadingidha. Akkuma jedhee deebii kan ta'u B'dha jechuudha. So Jewish religious leaders, Pharisees and Sadducees, so Jesus teaching us as a challenging their religious authority and also traditions. His popularity among people made them fear losing control. Ummata keessatti fudhatamuun hordoftoonni baay'achuu barsiisa gooftaa Yesus Kristos irraa ka'ee warri amantaa Yihuudotaa ilaalaa turanii akka isaan sodaatan ummata nurratti kaasa, ummata nurraa fudhate jedhanii amantaa isaanii irratti sodaa akka isaan qabaatan taasisaa ture jechuudha. Question number 13. Which one of the following language is considered as a representative of the northern Cushitic language family? Afaanota armaan gaditti eeramanii keessa afaan Kush warra kabaa bakka bu'a jedhamee ilaalamu kami? A. Zabeja language. B. Zabileen language. C. Agaw language. D. Argobba language. Here B is wrong because Zabileen language belongs to the central Cushitic group, not the northern Cushitic. While C is also not. Why? Agaw language belongs to central Cushitic, not northern Cushitic again. And also, D is not the answer. Why? Because Argobba language belongs to the Semitic language family, not Cushitic language family. As a result, A is the correct answer. The Beja language is the main and the most representative language of the Northern Cushitic language family. Question number 14. One of the following best explains the Pre-Axumite cultural center of Punt. Which one is it? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramanii keessaa tokko waa'ee aadaa Pre-Axumite giddugala Puntii sirriitti ibsaadha. Kami? A. Punt was the first historically known state in Ethiopia. This is incorrect because Punt was not the first historically known Ethiopian state. Damot holds that position, not Punt. B. Punt had its capital at Yeha, northeast of Aksum, it says. This also incorrect. Why? Because Yeha was the capital of Damot, not Punt. C. Remained a trading partner with ancient Egypt. This is the correct answer. D. Punt existed immediately before the state of Aksum, it says. This is also incorrect because Punt existed much earlier and was not immediately before the Axumite state. C is the correct answer because the land of Punt is best known historically for its strong trade relations with ancient Egypt by supplying gold, ivories, essence, and exotic goods. Walitti dhufeenya hariiroo daldala gaarii qabaachuudhaan beekama Punt jechuudha. Eenyu wajjin? Ancient Egypt wajjin maal dhiyeessuudhaan? Midha warqee, ilkaan arbaa, ixaanaa fi kanneen biroo Sudan. So remained a trading partner with ancient Egypt is one of the best explains the Pre-Axumite cultural center of Punt. Question number 15. Which one of the following events accurately characterizes the architectural achievement of the Axumites? A. The construction of sun-dried mud brick palaces for kings. No. Mud brick palaces were not the main architectural symbol of Axumite civilization. B. The engraving and erection of monolithic steels of different size. B is the correct answer. And also C, the building of modern monuments as a mark for burial places of foreigners. D, The construction of defensive walls in order to check outside invaders. This is also wrong. Defensive walls were not their major architectural achievement compared to steels. As a result, the Axumites are famous for their paint stone steels or obelisks carved from single blocks of stone and erected as tomb markers and also monuments. So tomb makers and monuments are the major achievement of Axumites. B is the correct answer. Question number 16. What type of relationship existed between the Muslim Sultanate of Shewa and the neighboring Muslim Sultanate of Ifat? Walitti dhufeenyi Muslima Sultanate Shewa fi Muslima Olla Sultanate Ifat gidduu jiru maali? A. Rule under a common ruling dynasty of the Shirazi Arab family? No, because they did not rule under one common dynasty. B. Fierce competition over grazing land and water holes for their nomadic background. This is also wrong because their conflict was political and military, not mainly about grazing land and economic. C. Economic alliance to cope with existing natural disaster and famine. There is no historical evidence of an economic alliance between Sultanate of Shewa and Sultanate of Ifat. D. The latter, which means Sultanate of Ifat repeated military campaigns to extend its rule over the Muslim Sultanate of Shewa. This is the correct answer. The Sultanate of Ifat frequently launched military campaigns against Shewa in order to dominate and absorb it politically. Question number 17. The Zagwe were best remembered in the history of Ethiopia for their achievements in Zagwe seenaa Itoophiyaa keessatti bara baraan akka yaadatamu raawwiin isa taasisu kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. Giving asylum to early followers of Prophet Muhammad. Hordoftoota Raajii Muhammadidhaa fi iddoo qubannaa kennuu jedhan. No. B. Translating some religious words from Arabic to Ge'ez. Yes. Asylum to early Muslim occurred during the Axumite parade, not during the Zagwe parade. So A is not correct. C. Ruling from roving capitals to check reverence in distant areas. D. Promoting the idea of separation of church and state. Roving capitals were characteristics of later Solomonic rulers, not the characteristics of Zagwe. So C is not the answer. D is also not the answer because they closely linked church and state rather than separating church and state. As a result, B. Zagwe dynasty is remembered for strengthening Christianity and translating important religious texts into Ge'ez. Zagween seenaa Itoophiyaa keessatti kan inni itti yaadatamu inni guddaani amantaa kiristaanaa cimsuu fi barreeffamoota afaan Arabaa gara Ge'ezitti jijjiiruudhaan beekama. Question number 18. Which one of the following historical incidents ended the autonomy of the medieval kingdom of Damot? A. Military conquest by Imam Ahmed in the 16th century. This is wrong because Imam Ahmed's campaigns happened much later and mainly affected the Christian highlands. B. Alliance between Yukno Amlak and the Muslim Sultanate of Shewa. This is also wrong because there was not such decisive alliance affecting Damot's autonomy. C. Amdetsion's military venture in the 14th century. This is the correct answer, while D is not the answer because fires skirmish with the Beta Israel of northwestern Ethiopia. These conflicts with Beta Israel did not end the kingdom of Damot. So, Emperor Amdetsion conducted military campaigns that brought Damot under the imperial control and ending its independence. Kanaaf walitti bu'iinsi fi waraanni Amdetsion mootummaa Damot irratti gaggeesse yeroon bulchiinsa mootummaa Damot akka raawwatu kan taasisedha jechuudha. Kanaaf caaltu deebii sirrii ta'a. Question number 19. For what skills and achievements was the Beta Israel, House of Israel, best remembered in history? Beekumsaa fi argannoowwan armaan gaditti eeramani keessa seenaa keessatti Beta Israeliin akka yaadataman kan isaan taasisu kami? A. Domination of cross-border trade and struggling via Matamma. Yes, it is correct. B. Adaptive strategy and resilience to land alienation by Christian kingdom. No, because Beta Israel were not mainly known for trade domination or smuggling. C. Use of bows and arrows from their background as hunters. This is also wrong because their identity was not based on hunting skill. D. Skills as warriors and surviving influences from Christian emperors. This also not the answer. They resisted rather than observed Christian imperial influence. The correct answer is B. The Beta Israel are remembered for their resilience and adaptation after losing land and facing pressure from Christian rulers. Question number 20. Which one of the following features characterized the period of early Middle Age in Western Europe? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramani keessa bara gidduu galeessa Awurooppaa lixaa sirriitti kan ibsu kami? A. The Middle Age in Western Europe was the period of industrial and commercial expansion. No, industrial and commercial expansion occurred later in the High Middle Ages. B. Middle Age in Western Europe was the age of flourishing in literature, architecture, and painting. No, artistic flourishing belongs mainly to the Renaissance rather than Middle Ages. C. Symbolized the blooming in power and authority of Western Roman rulers. Western Roman rulers had already collapsed during the Middle Age. D. Represents the height of the Roman Catholic Church as a ruling institution. Yes, the early Middle Age saw the Roman Catholic Church become the most powerful and influential institution in Western Europe. Bara giddu galeessa Awurooppaa lixaa keessatti manni amantaa Kaatolikii yeroo itti gara guddina fiixeetti dhuftee fi dhiibbaa uumuu dandeessedha. Kanaaf deebii sirrii kan ta'u daadha. Question number 21, the last question for today's lesson. Which one of the following was the effect of wars of the Crusades that lasted from 1096 to 1217? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeramanii keessa dhiibbaa waraana Crusade isa 1096tti jalqabee 1270tti dhumee kan ta'e kami? A. The popes of Rome lost their influence and powers. Wrong. Papal influence initially increased rather than declined. B. The wealthy of commercial cities of Europe developed. B is the correct answer. C. The expansion of serfdom and the worsening of the status of peasants. No. Serfdom did not expand as a direct result of the Crusades. And also, D. The detachment of contact between Europe and the Eastern world. This is also wrong because there was not detached. Contact between Europe and the East was increased as a result. B is the correct answer. The Crusades increased trade between Europe and the East, reaching cities like that of Venice and also Genoa. These are all about today's lesson. Thank you for your attention. Lesson anutti gaaffii 22 farraa ka'ee jiru qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadha. Jalqabaa qabdanii hanga dhumaatti viidiyoo koo waan daawwattaniidhaa fi guddaa galatoomaa. Viidiyoon kun vaariyaalii akka ba'uudhaa fi sheer, laayikii fi koomentii gochuu hin dagatinaan affeerraa kooti. Keessanis akka deemaa jiru gamanumaan hubachaa qayyabannaa keessanitti ciicitanii akka jabaattan isiniif dhaamuun barbaada.